Okay, good evening, everybody. We'll begin in about 2 minutes. If you need to run to the bathroom or get a drink, we'll start in 2 minutes. All right, it's 5:02, so let's get rolling. Welcome to Back to School Night virtual style. Appreciate you all being here. This is our 6th grade Back to School Night. We're doing it by grade levels because it is virtual. Typically, you would come in and hear from each teacher for about 10 minutes. So there's some pros and cons to doing it this way, but it's certainly difficult to not being on campus and seeing you all and meeting you all and feeling that energy and excitement. So we miss you guys. We miss the kids particularly and all the excitement that comes with the start of the school year. It's really hard to transition to middle school, and it's hard to transition to any school, to high school, to college, and all those kids like your kids that are doing this year. It's particularly difficult. So we understand that as a staff. We've talked about that. We understand that this is a unique situation, and it's harder for incoming 6th graders than 7th graders because everything's new. So we get that, and we've talked about that, and our 6th grade team is committed to working together to help ease that transition and make things a little smoother for all your kids. All right, so thanks again for being here. We'll be here till about 6 o'clock, and you'll have a chance to, let's see if this works, hear from myself and my vice principal, Melissa Brennan, our counselor, Ed Perryman, and our grade level teachers. We'll have a chance for a question and answer period at the end. And, this meeting will be recorded and shared out for families that can't attend. One thing I will say is that this will be a broader back to school night presentation than some of the past ones where you've attended and you get to hear each teacher and those specific details. So bear with us on that. We're doing this best we can in the virtual sense. All right. Okay. The first thing I want to talk about is learning from home. Somebody give me a thumbs up here that you're still seeing my screen and it says learning from home. Thank you. So one thing, I'm seeing all these great pictures of all these kids learning from home, and the thing I keep wanting to tell them is clear off your desks. I know I'm a little bit OCD about that type of thing, but clear off their desks. Get rid of as many distractions as you can from their desk as you possibly can. You got to help them with that. And I know they may be working on a couch, a bed, a desk, sharing a table, whatever it may be. Try to clear it off as much as you can. Encourage them to be comfortable but scholarly, right? So if they're on the couch, we don't want them laying down in a Zoom meeting. We don't want them slouching on their bed and in their PJs. We want them to be scholarly. So think about what that looks like for your kid and your house and your family. But we really yes, we want them comfortable, and that's one of the great things about being from home. But we want them to be scholarly, particularly when we're in a setting like this. We want them to present themselves as scholars. All right. Earbuds help. I'm not using them right now, but my voice audio probably would be more crystal clear if I was. And it also helps drown out distractions from your house. So think about earbuds if you can, and your kid doesn't mind them. Stand, stretch, and move. One of the teachers and I are texting each other every hour to do push-ups. And I jump down on the floor here in my office. I do push-ups. I try to stretch out every hour. And I really, really encourage you to talk to your kids, remind your kids, set alarms for your kids to stand, stretch, and move. However that looks for your kid, it might be different. It might be jumping jacks. It might be push-ups. It might be sit-ups or stretching. Get some water, walk around. I really, really encourage you to do that. Learning from home, working from home, it gets tiring sitting all day. So really think about how to get your kids, particularly for adolescents. Adolescents need to run and get out and get rid of some energy. So really think about how that looks for your family and encourage that. All right. Okay. I want to talk now about the access. We've had great access these first 3 days. Vast majority of our students have been able to access. It's not to say there hasn't been hiccups, Zoom issues, camera issues, link issues, of course, and we're working through that. We're trying to get it perfect. But I want to talk to you about access. A lot of what we've talked about is trying to simplify and create uniformity and consistency and trying to make fewer platforms and less places to look. The problem, as you can see from my list here, is that not one platform does it all. So, we don't have a platform that can handle everything. Google Classrooms does not, do what HomeLink does. So the issue we have is we have to have some multiple platforms, and this can cause some confusion. And I understand that, but we're trying to limit it as much as possible by being consistent. So each one of these items, the one-stop shop on our website is public, and it directs you to a place with more info. So you can get more info at the grade level Google sites, right? You can get bios from the teachers and pictures of the teachers and syllabi and other things. The Google Classrooms is a different type of platform. And again, we can't really combine these things. The Google Classrooms are where the kids are doing the work. It's where they're getting the instructions. It's where they're getting the directions. It's where they're getting resources from the teachers. HomeLink is where the grades go in, the attendance goes in, all right? So, and then of course, Zoom. So I understand that when there's things in multiple places, I've seen posts on Facebook and, we get calls, why is this link over here and why is this link over here? It's partially because we want to try to catch every kid and every parent where they're at. Some parents aren't able to log into HomeLink yet. So if everything were on HomeLink, then those parents would be left out. Some families have struggled to get into Google right now. So if everything was on Google, then those families would be left out. So we're trying to, cast a wide enough net, but still maintain consistency and uniformity and simplicity so that everyone's not too overwhelmed. I understand it's overwhelming this first week. I understand there's confusion. I get it. Keep calling, keep emailing me. We'll keep fixing things. But know that our goal is consistency and uniformity and simplicity when it comes to access. That is a huge goal of ours. We're already way better than we were in the spring. And we're only going to get better. Okay, Zoom links. It's probably the biggest concern around the country probably, but they started off on the one-stop shop. Those were public and on Google Sites. They were on Google Classroom and HomeLink, but we've reduced that now to just private. And the rationale is we want to reduce chances that a visitor we don't want is coming on to the Zoom meetings. So Zoom links can be found now in two places, Google Classroom and HomeLink. All right, Google Classroom and HomeLink. If for some reason you're not seeing them there, contact the teacher, contact the office, but all of our teachers know those are our two spots. They're not on the one-stop shop anymore because that's public. They're not on the Google sites anymore because that's public. And we don't want the public to have access to our Zoom meetings. All right, same for this call. That's why I emailed you guys the link instead of posting it on our website. Okay, attendance. Attendance is different this year. It's for us, for teachers. For you, for parents, same as always. Send in an email or a call if you need to excuse your child. But for us, it's different. There's more options. There's different ways to do it. We're on a block schedule. So the timing is different. We're working that out. I know a few of you have already seen a couple errors already, and that's okay. Just let us know that you see it. It's a good habit and a good practice for the rest of your educational career to check ARIES, HomeLink, to check your attendance on a weekly or so basis. Eventually, your child will be old enough to do that themselves. And just contact our attendance secretary if you need. Okay, assignments. Our staff worked really hard this summer at creating some uniformity around assignments. They've committed to posting them every morning by 9 a.m., preferably all of them by Monday morning. Many teachers are posting all of them by Monday morning, but all of us have agreed that assignments will be posted by 9 a.m. daily. They've also all agreed that all regular work, not huge projects, but regular work is due by 9 p.m. on Sunday. 9 p.m. Sunday. If your child has accommodations that give extra time, then that may be tweaked. But all regular work, 9 p.m. Sunday. And the staff has learned this spring that late work did not work well with distance learning. Kids got way too far behind and it was way too difficult for them to maintain. So late work is not being accepted unless there's an extenuating circumstance. These are staff agreements that we've come up with to try to make things simpler and easier for students and parents. Okay, grades. A to F, well, you're not used to it unless you had a middle schooler, but secondary level is A through F, and that's like normal. One thing I will say is we're trying to ease things in as we go here, but there will be assessments, there will be tests, there will be essays and projects and things that come up that are very rigorous, just like before. So, you know, things kind of seem slow going this first week or two as we take off. But, you know, grades will start to become a real thing in your household in the coming weeks and months. And I know that causes stress, and I get it. So where you go for grades is on HomeLink. On HomeLink, what you do is you can check your attendance, you can check the assignments that are posted and what your child earns. And from there, you reach out to your teacher. You say, hey, I'm confused about this, or I thought my child got this, and we rectify any issues. Your child will also get a student HomeLink account so they can do the same. Okay, I'm going quick, I know, but we got a lot to cover. Gmail, one thing you can do right away, go through your child's Gmail. Go through it quickly, or go through it, slowly and comprehensively, because they need to clear it out, get old emails out, set it up, customize it, clean it out regularly, create some labels for them, teach them about Google labels and Google, those are basically folders if you're not used to Gmail. And then most of our teachers are using Google Voice. Google Voice, you can text or call. It's basically you reaching out to us on our cell phone. So feel free, you or your child can text or call when you see a Google Voice number. Okay, I send a weekly newsletter. If you're not receiving it, let me know. Contact us. I also post them on our school website. And the last thing I want to talk about is the PTSA. Our parent faculty club is really working hard to design some distance learning assistance programs. And what they're trying to raise money for is to support your kids at home by having staff members reach out to them after hours and support them in different ways, and by rewarding them and giving them extra incentives during this distance learning process. So it is still imperative that the PTSA gets your support. If you haven't yet checked out their website, joined their cause, and supported them, I absolutely hope you will and can, and at least look into it. If you can't afford something right now, maybe you can volunteer in a way. All right. So that's it for me. I'm going to pass it off to our fabulous vice principal, Melissa Brennan. She's going to be discussing 504s and IEPs and scheduling and so forth. Okay, Melissa, go ahead.
Can you hear me, everybody? Hope so.
Yeah.
There we go. So I'm going to talk about 3 different things today. The scheduling, master scheduling, the 504s, and our IEPs. So I just wanted you to know, unfortunately, due to limitations with the budget this year, we aren't offering as many electives that we have been in the past. But what we did this year is we really wanted to make sure we focused our allocated sections towards having core class numbers down and low. So the core classes are non-elective classes, which are English, history, math, and science. And we've been able to maintain lower numbers and not go over our class numbers and class maxes to make sure students have good experiences in their core classes. I did have some questions about IEPs and 504s. I want you to know that there will be support, even though we are in distance learning. If your student has an IEP, please reach out to their case manager to talk about what accommodations could look like in distance learning. And if your student has a 504, we do have information about how to write accommodations for students who have 504 plans that are appropriate for distance learning. And if you do need to find out who the case manager is, you can reach out to me or the school. Most case managers have already reached out to their parents. If they haven't already, let me know and I'll make sure to connect you directly to the person you need to. And is there anything else you'd like me to cover?
No, thank you. I will say, from a big picture overview, I think one of the hardest things about this distance learning process is students receiving accommodations or modifications via the 504 IEP process. It is something that we understand is going to be extra hard. We have people and plans to reach out here in week 2, week 3 to set up meetings and to check in. Our team is already started meeting. So we have begun that process and we'll be in touch. But you can always your case manager. You can email the office if you're struggling, or me. We understand during a distance learning format, it's extra hard for students who have extra needs or are struggling with whatever. It could be a simple situation or it could be complex. It's exacerbated typically during this distance learning process, and we get that. So we're going to work extra hard to try to support them however we can. All right, I'm going to now pass it off to Mr. Perryman. Mr. Perryman is our fantastic counselor. He's here all 5 days, and he is amazing. He runs our web program, which supports 6th graders and transitioning to 6th grade. He's going to talk a little bit about counseling and social emotional support and the web program. Mr. Perryman?
Good evening. So as Mr. Campo mentioned, my name is Ed Perryman. I'm a school counselor here. I am here full time. My office hours are from 8 to 3 p.m. Here Monday through Friday. I mostly offer counseling support in academics. However, I do provide social and emotional learning as well. As Mr. Campo mentioned, I oversee the web program. I've been doing the web program for a total of 4 years now at Pine Hollow. WEB stands for Where Everybody Belongs. It's a 6th grade transition program where 7th and 8th grade mentors follow the students throughout their year here at Pine Hollow while in 6th grade. This year was a little bit different, however, with distance learning. So I had to, kind of reiterate a lot of the curriculum that I usually do throughout the year when students are connecting with 6th graders. So this year, a lot of the web students, they've probably called your homes and they've probably connected with some parents and some students. I feel that any connection is positive when it comes to peer interactions. And there was a situation where, I wasn't able to send you guys letters. Most of the time I send letters to 6th grade parents letting them know that web leaders will be calling. However, due to the pandemic, there were limited resources, but the students were excited to connect with sixth graders. And in my opinion, that's what matters, is when students are excited to meet sixth graders and support them and mentor them. And that's pretty much what the program's all about. This week and every week, Web Leaders will be emailing students on Fridays just to check in with them, see how their Google Classrooms are going, seeing if they need any additional supports. There will be some upcoming activities throughout the year. And I'm trying to figure all that out and how to do it through distance learning, but it'll work. It'll work for sure. And, so please email me if you have any questions or concerns. And also, if your student wants to talk, I'm available on Zoom. I'm available through Google Voice. I'll leave my Google Voice number in the chat, as well as my email address. And yeah, so I look forward to starting the year off with your students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I think some people were saying I was breaking up. Let me know if I continue to break up. I'm going to pass it off now to the sixth grade team. So, sixth grade team.
Okay. Can you make me co-host, Ben?
Try sharing now, Leah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, who's starting? Can everyone hear okay? Can you hear me okay?
I don't mind starting.
Okay, go ahead.
Welcome to Back to School Night. We are thrilled to be starting school. We're not so thrilled to be starting school this way, but we are doing what is safe for everybody. So our sixth grade team consists of 3 teams. Kelly, you want to keep going?
Yeah, I just realized I was on mute, so I'm really sorry.
That's okay. You can go
Okay,
ahead.
that's me. I'm so sorry about that. So I was just saying that, yes, you can see that all the sixth grade teachers have on the same shirts, so that will maybe help you identify us. But I was just saying that in sixth grade at Pine Hollow, we are teamed. So you just heard from Mrs. Roberts Farley, and her team partner is Mrs. Christensen. You just heard from Mrs. Medina, and her team partner is Mrs. Keller-Halls. And I'm Mrs. Kayla Hernandez, and my team partner is Mrs. Mann. Mrs. Van Brocklin is our resource specialist who supports all students who need that support as part of our sixth grade staff. In language arts, we cover lots of things. Our focus is journal writing. We have students writing as much as possible. We also will be working this year on personal narrative, which is actually an essay, and literary essays. We provide lots of opportunities to build their reading skills. We use lots of mentor texts. We do writing projects, and we also incorporate novels into our English program. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is that we do have a pretty extensive reading list that we like to get through during the sixth grade year with our students. We are planning on reading in first quarter. We're reading Fever for reading, and we'll be reading Front Desk for English. We are asking parents, if at all possible, to purchase copies of these novels. It's really difficult, one, to provide the kids with new reading materials all the time and not reading the same stories that they've read over and over. And also with the pandemic, even if we end up back in the classroom with the hybrid model, we are really not allowed to share materials with students. So we would want students to have their own copy if possible. I know that this is difficult for some families. So I just do want to say that if it's possible that you can buy a book for your child, you might also think of buying an extra book that we could share with another student. And I also want to just give kudos to our PTSA. They're amazing. And whenever we have needs like this, we can go to them, and we usually get a lot of great support from the PTSA. And so on this list, you're going to see the books that we have planned for this school year. So we're not asking you to rush out and buy all of them now. So first quarter is Front Desk and Fever, $17.93. Second quarter will be Home of the Brave and One Crazy Summer. Third quarter will be The Wild Robot and One for the Murphys. and fourth quarter is Al Capone Does My Shirts and Ghost. I do want to shout out that last year, Jennifer Chodonko for Al Capone Does My Shirts did come to our school. It was incredibly special, and we hope that we can offer another author experience for our students. And then this is just an extended list. As I said, we really love reading in our classes, and we're hoping that we can also read Best at It, Number the Stars, PAX, and Mix Bixby's Last Day. So that's just our goal for reading. And I just want to share really quickly, Mrs. Raj-Farley, before I move on, is that the books that we read, we are reading them across the curriculum, so it is English and history. Oh, sorry, English and reading.
Okay, in world history, our curriculum is ancient civilizations, but because of the pandemic and everything that's going on, we really felt that it was important for our kids to have a little bit of a civics education. So we're using something called iCivics, which is was started by Sandra Day O'Connor, the former justice on the Supreme Court, because she didn't feel that kids were getting enough actual civics teaching or learning in school. And it's super fun. There's games, and it's very bright and fun to do, but it does teach you your responsibilities and your rights as a citizen. Also, we'll be using, you guys can all read, so our textbook and TCI and other different things to bring in interesting ancient civilizations. They'll have writing assignments as well as projects this year. The breakdown for grading for English and world history is that classwork, which it consists of virtual meetings, notes in their composition books, any assigned classwork or homework, exit tickets, and a participation grade is all worth around 40 points. Then projects are 30 points, and assessments are also 30% percentage. I'm sorry, 40%, 30%, 30%. Sorry about that.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Mann. I'm going to be presenting the math and science. For math, we're going to be using the Digits textbook. Most of you guys have already picked up all that you need. We already gave out Digits 1 and 2, and you're also going to get a workbook that goes with that. So they should have 3 books for math. We're going to be working a lot with math vocabulary this year, and we have a lot of fun projects that are also going to be included in math. For science, we are working with the NGSS. That's the Next Generation Science Standards. So we do have a science textbook that everybody picked up, but you'll notice we probably are not going to be working out of the book very much. It's an older book, and we are working with more current curriculum with that. There'll be a lot of online, there'll be a lot of online assignments, labs, and projects. You can go to the next slide. We have the math and science grading breakdown all on one slide. It's weighted more in math. We've kind of got it 60% test, quizzes, and projects, where 40% is our meetings, our online assignments, our daily class notes, which will be important in math, exit tickets, and participation. I was already telling kids that just being there is a big part of your grade. You'll get a lot more out of being there every day. Science is not weighted. It's really just points earned divided by total points. Very easy, and that's the way it's set up. The only thing that we don't have put on these slides, which I can't believe we omitted, is the Ocean Ambassador Program, which you guys can go to our Google Sites for a whole lot more information. But they are part of a program led by the Marine Mammal Center in Sausalito. And last year we got 2 big field trips. It probably won't happen this year, but they are still providing us with a lot of stuff to use in our classes. And we are really, really grateful for that. It's a great program. You can read more about it in Google Sites. Okay, thank you.
Hello, I'm Leah Miss Kellerholz, and I'm going to be talking about grade reporting. So grades are updated on HomeLink every 2 weeks. But even as a parent, I know I tend to check HomeLink consistently just to make sure I know what's expected of my student, what might be coming up. Check HomeLink with your students, so make sure that they also are part of the process. I think that's really important for them. HomeLink is for checking grades and assignments. Progress reports are sent home every 6 weeks. Report cards are sent home every 9 weeks. And then letter grades are also given. How much time should your student be spending on work daily? Daily live instruction and assignments, 240 minutes, including Wednesdays. Homestead, which we just have on Wednesdays, period 2, class live instruction. So they meet with their second period teacher for about an hour. Then after that, we're available from 10:05 to 11:05. If you need to call, email, the kids can ask on Google Classroom for help. Then from 11:10 to 2:15 is lunch and independent work. So they can grab a bite to eat. They can also finish up their work.
Hi, this is Mrs. Roberts Farley again. And we do have rewards and consequences because it works for kids. The rewards are PBIS points. They are points that they can collect and use in kind of a token economy. The problem is that we don't really know how that's going to work this year, but we're hoping that it works out really well. And so we're going to continue with that. Also, we do classroom recognition and positive notes and emails home. And then the consequences for, it's really important to have a set of consequences for the virtual classroom, because it's really difficult to walk up and talk to the kids or use the normal things that we would use while we were teaching. So they get a verbal warning, and then they have a one-on-one conference with the teacher where I would say you need to stay after in class for a second and send everybody else out of class and talk to them. Then an email home, and then the last would be a referral to the administrator, and there would be a conference with parents and administration. And also, here are some ways that you could support your student. As Mr. Campopiano said earlier, make sure you have a comfortable but organized workspace for your student to work. Check their Google Classroom weekly for assignments. Check their planner. They should be writing in their planner. We're having them do that at the beginning of every day. Check home links with your students once a week. Encourage your student to take personal responsibility and be the one to contact their teachers first to make sure that they're actually being the one to own their education. And then monitoring their, that's covered up. Monitoring screen time when it's not school related, because they're going to be on the screen for a lot during school. So thank you.
Hi, my name's Miss Christensen. I'm going to go over the 6th grade awards. 6th grade really focuses on social skills, getting organized, and we like to reward students for showing growth and for those students that were just on it all year. At Pine Hollow, we're the Mustangs. We have Mustang Pride. So we named our awards using that PRIDE. You can see what they are there. And there's 2 for I, inclusive and integrity, because they're both important. And then if a student could earn any of those awards, they were just, they were amazing, they were kind, they were wonderful to all, they might get the rare award, where they're like, it's a rare thing to have somebody at this age be able to do all that. So it's like the highest award. It's very special. And those are done at the end of the year, and hopefully we'll all be together so we can have, actually I don't even know if we'll have an awards assembly, but at least we'd be able to see the kids when we gave them. Last year we did a virtual, we did a video the kids could watch and get theirs. Okay, so donations, again, novels, those novels you saw, And then when the kids are done reading them, if you could donate them to the school so we can use them for other students in other years. It is our top priority. If you have any unused earbuds, like the ones that went home in the backpack, if you didn't need them and they didn't get open, if you could drop them back at school sometime, or maybe you get devices that come with earbuds that you don't need that are wrapped, if you could drop them off so we can give them to students that need some. And then if you don't want to go out and buy the novels like extra for people, if you have any like Amazon gift cards or you want to buy one and turn it in, or cash is always good. We'll take those kind of donations so we can just go out and buy in bulk the books and things that we need. But books are definitely our #1 priority. Okay, and my last slide is communication. It's one of the most important skills that we do. It goes in with that social, how to speak to other people. So I'll leave it to you to read through it, but teachers are where your students should be getting their information. I always tell my students, don't ask your parents. It's been a long time since they were in school. If you're not sure how to do that assignment that I assigned, the person to ask is me. And then the second person to ask, or really the first person to ask, is a classmate that you know, and then you move on to the teacher. But like low on that list is your parents, because they weren't in the meet. They weren't there to hear the directions. So start with the people that are currently doing it and your teachers. We all have Google Voice numbers that you can text to, and we really want the students to step up and do that. Texting will get you your answer the quickest. Email is great, but it's only when you can go in and check it, so it's not very immediate. But even email, we'd like the student to email us instead of the parent listening to the student and then writing down the email. We really want to teach them in middle school the skill that they're going to need going forward, is that they're the one who needs to start taking responsibility. And you can help them. My son he's in high school. He shows me his emails before he sends them so I can look for, spelling mistakes and other things and make sure he has the information. And he does that on his own. He comes and gets me. But he's doing it. So he's learning how to do that before he goes off to college. Miss Medina.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Medina. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to talk about digital responsibility. Some of you may have seen this presentation when we had an open house for incoming families in the spring, but it's really important because middle school is a time when students are starting to establish an online presence, and we want to make sure that online presence is positive, it's safe, and it's responsible. And I believe these slides will also, I'm going to go through kind of quick because we're running out of time, but I think Mr. Campbell put this presentation on the Pine Hollow website too. These are some of the social media platforms that you may or may not be familiar with. These are their age requirements or recommendations. Those of you whose students have a phone, texting and group text are ones you really want to watch out for. But these are some of them. So there are some positives when monitored and used responsibly. Digital communication and social media can be positive for a way to connect, common interests, help students stay connected with friends and family. It can allow students to get involved with social action groups or charities. It can enhance creativity, and it does promote communication with teachers and classmates. So there are a lot of positives, but there are also risks. Despite the positives, other digital communication and social media there are many risks, often because adolescent children do not always make responsible choices when posting, or do not always make responsible choices, period. Some of these risks are, it can replace actual socialization. It shows an idealized Photoshop picture of people's lives, which has its own consequences. It holds their attention, maybe too much. It encourages passive browsing and scrolling. It can lead to feelings of inadequacy. less satisfaction, depression. That often comes from seeing those idealized pictures. And it sometimes can be a place where people share private information and cyberbullying. So these are some statistics, not so great, about students who, teens who spend a little too much time. They're more at risk for depression. So 8th graders who spend 10 or more hours a week on social media are 56% more likely to say they're unhappy than those who spend less time. 8th graders are heavy users of social media, increase their risk of depression by 27%. Teens who spend 3 more hours a day on electronic devices are 35% more likely to have a risk factor for suicide. Girls are especially hit hard. We do see a rise in depression, and half of all mental illnesses worldwide started at age 14. So this is kind of the real beginning of it. So as parents, what can you do? Although we discourage social media use at this age, if your child is using it, there are things you can do to help them be responsible. Set clear expectations, make a contract, know who your child is communicating with. Make sure there is a balance between their digital life and their real social interactions. Do your homework, make sure to try out an app before your child uses it. There are other places you can look at what the age requirement is as well. Discourage students from posting themselves or revealing personal information. Make sure you monitor their accounts and texting. I have a 14-year-old and I monitor her text. She knows her phone is a privilege. And I check it if I feel I need to, and she knows that. Have devices in common areas and keep devices out of the bedrooms at night. Make sure, because when you think they're asleep, they might wake up and be using their phone, and make sure you know their passwords. Some things you can kind of coach your children on about being digitally responsible is be nice. Don't say anything you wouldn't say face to face. Don't say anything you wouldn't want your parents, coaches, teachers, anyone to see. Make sure they're be responsible. Think twice or even 3 times before they actually post anything. Make sure they're not posting things when they're emotional, angry, upset. Make sure they're not friending strangers, and make sure they know that no one, including them, have the right to share anybody else's information, pictures, addresses, phone numbers without permission. Encourage meaningful interactions. Help provide guidance for your child about ways to have meaningful interactions and how to find sites and apps that are vetted. There are plenty where someone is always monitoring, so make sure they're on sites that are monitored, and make sure you're using privacy settings. So these are some of the articles that have some of the information in this presentation, so you can look at that for more. I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah, and thank you, 6th grade team. We will share out the recording of the video and the slide deck they created and my slide deck as well. A lot of good info in there. Really unified group, and you should be so excited to have your kids to have them. So we have 15 minutes, and then we're all running to the 7th grade back to school night meeting. So if you have some questions kind of for the good of the order, big picture, we're happy to address those for the next 15 minutes. So just give me your hand. And
Ben? Sorry, Ben. Does Ms. Nelson or any of the elective teachers have anything they want to say before you take questions?
thank you, Karen, for bringing that up. If you guys do, just jump in. So parents, you can kind of raise your hand or unmute yourself to get my attention. And we've got 15 minutes. All right, Mr. Martinez, go ahead.
We can't hear you.
Okay, well, you fix your audio. We can't hear you. we're going to see if there's any other questions. Go ahead, Ms. Fawcett.
The reading list that you posted today is different from the one that was found on a site earlier. Will that be updated?
I see what you're saying. I know I talked to you earlier. I wasn't sure what you were talking about. All the books that are on both lists are books that we hope to get to. We just don't know how fast we're going to be able to get through the books doing distance learning, because we're actually really kind of looking at 50% of the curriculum. Our overall goal is to get to all of those books, and that's why they should have been on that extended list that you saw on the slides. So what I think the best shot, that's why I was saying I wouldn't maybe go out and buy them all at one time, is that we'll be updating them as we go along. Our goal really is to do 3 novels a quarter. We just don't really honestly know if that's realistic this year.
Okay.
So that's why we kind of modified it. Okay, but that was a great question. Thank you.
I'm looking around for hands, but if you want to unmute and interrupt me, you can. Okay, try again, Mr. Martinez.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear Maria. I can't hear Mr. Martinez. So Maria, go ahead.
I just wanted to know, I'm sorry, I don't know if they already explained about the electives, how they work. My daughter chose an elective, but I don't know how it's gonna, she chose a different one that she got, so I would like to know how it's gonna change that one, or how it works, how it really works, the wheel of the electives.
Okay. Melissa, do you want to answer that? Okay, I can answer that for you.
My audio is going in and out, so I turned off my video. But yes, I can answer the rotation. Sorry, Ben, if I cut you off.
Yeah, turn your video off.
So the internet's much better at Pine Hollow.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead, Melissa, because you're cutting in and out. The elective for 6th graders, if you're in music, then you do music all year. If you're not in music, then you have a different elective each quarter that the 6th grade teachers teach. So 1 quarter would be art, 1 quarter would be world cultures, 1 quarter would be computers, and 1 quarter would be our enrichment AVID class, where we're doing all sorts of enrichment building. So if you want to be in the music program, it's not too late, but 6th grade, the way it's developed is that kids get a chance, an opportunity to learn and go through a different elective each quarter. It's kind of like a wheel. It rotates each quarter.
Okay, thank you.
The world culture is taught by our Spanish teacher.
Hey there, I teach world cultures, and I'm also currently teaching 6th grade PE. So I'll probably have another back to school night for just my classes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I saw the student, Mr. Martinez, asking about an exit ticket. An exit ticket is just a really quick check-in, 1 or 2 questions that we do at the end of the class to just help us understand if you were understanding the material or the lesson or the focus of the day. Samantha, go ahead.
Hi, so for the books that you guys have listed for 6th grade, at what point are you guys going to start reading them? When I look online to purchase them, you know, my daughter spends half her time here and half her time at her dad's, so do I ship to her dad's, or at what point are you gonna open them up and start reading them? Someone.
I would say that that's going to start next week. Front desk might not start until the week after next, but Fever we would be starting next week.
Thank you, that's very helpful.
Okay.
I see a question from Liz about attendance. If your child is in the Zoom meeting, they'll be marked present. If they do not attend the Zoom meeting, the Zoom class, they would be marked absent. And so the key is to try to get to present, which is to be in the class. If they can't make it, please excuse them how you normally would by calling our attendance secretary or emailing them. There's information about that on our website. There are district and state directives that if your child cannot make class, the actual live class, but they do work later in the day, that they will be marked in a different way. They wouldn't be marked present because they were not present in your class, in the class, but they would be marked a different way to show that they did do work that day. So the key is, the goal is to be present in class and get that P mark. If you cannot do that, please excuse the absence and try to do work later that day so we can give them some engagement credit. It's a little confusing. I'm going to try to keep explaining that in my newsletters and so forth as we go. And I see another comment about attendance. We can correct attendance, so just reach out to us if you see a mistake on there. You would reach out to our attendance secretary, and the information for her is on our website under the attendance link.
And I wanted to add to that. So when your child comes into the Zoom meeting, we would like them to have their first and their last name, and the last name that is on their, their school records, and to make attendance easy. I see somebody saying their child's been coming, but they haven't been marked. It could be that their name is not the name that is on the roster. So we can't tell who's who. We just go by the names that are listed. Also, if you go to zoom.us, you can go into the settings and change the name for good to the child's first and last name, so they don't have to continually change it when they go into their Zoom classrooms. Because you can change it in the room, but once you leave it and join another meeting, it goes back to whatever's in the settings.
Thank you, Karen.
And I have something to add. If you have a student that can't get on their video, it's completely understandable. I have a few students that it's not working, or they have to charge their webcam, and I completely understand that. I think if you could shoot us an email and just let us know if your student doesn't have the ability to be on there visually, so we just make sure it is your student. So a lot of times I try to ask them and they give me a reason, which is wonderful. We just want to make sure we're safe and we have the right person in our Zoom room. So just let us know, email us if there's a problem with their camera or you don't have one, so we can make a quick note.
I see a question about poor internet connection. You know, if you're struggling with tech issues, just email us, just call us. You can email the teacher, you can email me, you can email the attendance registrar, and we'll excuse that. So we're very flexible about that, and the state and the district understand those sorts of issues.
Mr. Campo, I just wanted to add, I saw on the stream there's still a lot of questions about the books, and I will be happy tomorrow to send out an email to all parents with the list and when we're planning on reading them, and so that you can have it ahead of time. I've done a lot of research looking at the books, and I found that Amazon does have the best price, but you can also look at Barnes and Nobles, and sometimes Target also has the books. Okay, but I will update the list and send it out to everyone in an email tomorrow.
Thank you. And I can include that in my future newsletter as well. I see a person asking for an elective change. You can email me about that. You can find my email on the school website. Any other questions? I'm looking around for hands. We got a few minutes left.
A question?
Go ahead.
Mrs. Kill Hernandez, if you could also confirm on that list that you're going to put together, I'm not sure what the secondary list is that Mrs. Fawcett saw. Should we go off of tonight's slide? If we took a picture of that, is that our final?
Yes, we're gonna post this, the whole entire slide set so you can see them. But I think what she's talking about, right when school got out last year, Mr. Campo had a meeting with all incoming 5th grade parents. And at that time in June, we put out the list we thought we were going to use, and we've changed maybe 1 or 2 books. So, and like I said, they're all on the list that we hope to read, and I will send out the updated list through an email. And then at the end of tonight, we can actually post our slide deck on the Google Sites for 6th grade. So you can access it there this evening as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And remember, anything on either of those lists, those are all amazing books. So if you got all of them, that would be fabulous for your kids.
Yep. Okay. We're going to wrap up, and I understand this is not the best forum for a real personal conversation, but you know, reach out to us, send us an email. I know you're busy. I get it. And I know that we're busy. I know sometimes it's hard to get a hold of us, but we're committed to responding to emails quickly. You know, me and our teachers will reply within 24 hours. We get back to you on phone calls, we'll text. So reach out to us, and we're going to do our best to keep communicating. Many teachers are, you know, working hard to just build relationships with your kids right now. That's our biggest focus, building relationships and getting them to engage. So keep encouraging them, keep being positive about this experience, and focus on the positives of this as much as we humanly can. I will reshare, or I will share out the recording of this and the slide decks and the book list tonight, tomorrow, so that everyone has it. I'll send it to all sixth graders. I'll post it to the sixth grade Facebook group. I'll put it in the website and the newsletter and so forth. Okay. So thank you all so much for coming. Have a great evening. Let your sixth graders know that we can't wait to meet them in person. And we're so excited to have them. Welcome to Pine Hollow, everybody. And thanks for coming tonight. Okay. Bye now.
Thank you.